Hey, good morning. Some of the things that I want to talk about this morning, a little unusual. You see, I know that you've done everything right. I know you probably maxed out your 401k, you paid off your house, you probably saved for 30 years or more, like you're supposed to. And you still don't know if it's enough. That's what's crazy. Well, here's the truth I want to talk about for a minute. That uncertainty, it's not about how much you saved. It's about never having a real plan once you retire. Just a savings account and hope, that's not enough. And a number in an account, that's not a plan either. It's just a number. You see, let me start with this. My name's Bill Bergfeld, and if that's you right now, if you feel like you've done everything right, but you just don't have a plan, then stick with me because in the next 10 minutes or so, I'm going to talk you through a three-part framework that I've used several times to help people to retire with a pile of money, but they still have a knot in their stomach because they don't know really what's going on. You see, let's talk about number one in my list here, your income clarity. See, most people plan around a savings total, not a monthly income. And that's all backwards. The real question isn't how much money do I have? The real question is how much reliable income can this produce for me month after month, no matter what the stock market does? You see, there's a lot of guaranteed income that we know that most retirees have: Social Security, pensions, annuities, and even their portfolio, withdrawals. But leaning entirely on your portfolio withdrawals is where the anxiety comes from, I think. You know, a couple with enough saved can still be terrified about the fact of retirement and they don't have a plan. It's just not set up that way. You don't retire on a balance, you retire on a paycheck. So, step one is just knowing what yours actually is. And the second part's what I call the bucket strategy. There's now money, which I call that bucket number one. And it's the money that you've got set up that could last for maybe 3 years safely, totally liquid, not exposed to any market swings or anything like that. And this is the bucket that lets you sleep at night when there's a downturn in the market, when things start looking a little scary. Bucket number two is what I call the soon money, maybe money that you'll need in the next 3 to 10 years. It requires some moderate growth. It can't just be a source of funds that just sit static. And what's nice about this is your soon money, this bucket number two, it can be used to refill bucket number one over time if you need to. Then there's bucket number three. That's the one I call the later money, 10 years or longer. Your legacy money, if you want to call it that. This is the money that stays invested. It's purely for growth because this money has time working for it. It's time on its side. And that's important. Now, the question should be, why does all this matter emotionally, not just financially? It's the difference between watching the news during a market downturn, a market drop, and getting stick at your stomach, and then versus knowing your near-term needs, they were never at risk anyway, never at risk in the first place. Now, the third part of this whole thing about not being prepared. The biggest reason I think retirement plans fail it's not bad math. It's that people build a plan once, usually sometimes in their 50s, maybe really early 60s, but they never go back and review it. They never touch it again. And a real plan gets reviewed every year. Income needs, whether you want to admit it or not, the needs are going to change. Tax laws change. Your health's going to change. And goodness sakes, recognize this. The market is going to change. It's going to move. So your plan has got to move with it. And I'm not trying to talk to you about predicting the future. It's not about building something flexible enough that it just is not affected by markets. Income clarity, understanding where you are with your regular sources of income, understanding that bucket strategy, and then doing setting up some annual reviews. You see, this is the 3-part framework. And it's simple. It's crazy. But dadgummit, almost nobody does it. But I want to encourage you to consider it. You know what? If this was helpful at all, I put together a free guide that goes deeper on building your own income and your own bucket plan, no matter what the pitches might be. It's just a guide. There's no pitches in it, no sales in it, nothing like that. It's just a guide to help you. The link is in the description. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit the button so that you don't miss next week's video. I post sometimes 2 or 3 times a week. Hey, hope you have a great day. Take care.